If you're developing, designing, or building anything in England right now, there is a brand new regulation that could honestly make or break your project. So today, we are going to break down Approved Document R, the new legal mandate for digital connectivity. Let me ask you a question. In a world where absolutely everything runs online, a new building without a lightning-fast internet connection isn't just a bit of a hassle, it's basically obsolete the second it's finished. And that is exactly what this new regulation is designed to stop. All right, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to cover the new digital mandate, what the specific rules are for new homes, that all-important £2,000 cost cap, the paperwork you need to know about, and finally, we'll touch on how this all affects offices and big renovations.
So let's get right into it. Approved Document R, which kicked in on December 26, 2022, isn't just a bit of friendly advice. It is a full-on legal requirement. It says that all new building work must include the right infrastructure for gigabit speed networks. This fundamentally changes how we need to think about utilities right from the get-go.
The whole thing is split into two parts. Volume 1 is the big one for anyone building new homes, because it demands both the physical infrastructure and a live working gigabit connection. Volume 2, on the other hand, is for new commercial buildings and major renovations, and it focuses only on making sure the building has the right infrastructure to be high-speed ready. Okay, let's dive into the core of Volume 1, because this affects every single new home. The absolute easiest way to think about this is like digital plumbing. You wouldn't build a house without water pipes and a connection to the main, right? Well, now it's the law that you can't build one without the digital pipes and a connection to the data main. This is all covered by two key requirements, RA1 and RA2. And the difference between them is really simple. Requirement RA1 is all about the pipes. That's the physical ducting, the access chambers, the termination points. Then you've got RA2, which is about the service. That means a working, live, gigabit connection has to be flowing through those pipes. For new homes, you absolutely have to provide both. So, drilling down into RA1, what we're talking about is a continuous physical path for that fiber optic cable. This path has to run completely uninterrupted from the spot inside the home where the connection terminates, all the way out to the network operator's main distribution point in the street. This journey starts at what's called the network distribution point. Just picture it as the main data pipe running down the street. It could be a green cabinet on the sidewalk or a box up on a telegraph pole. That's the source of the connection. So from that point in the street, your ducting has to create a clear, protected route to an access point on the outside of the building, and then continue through the wall to the network termination point inside each and every home. This is the tap. It's where the resident is going to plug in their router. And just like that, you've installed the entire plumbing system. Now, when it comes to the performance of that live connection, the standard is not up for debate. This isn't just about providing fast internet. The regulation is very specific. It has to be a live, functional connection capable of delivering download speeds of at least 1,000 megabits per second. That's the gigabit standard. And this is really important. The regulation doesn't care how you deliver that speed. It's totally technology neutral. Yeah, full fiber is the most common way to do it, but it's not the only way. High-speed cable, fixed wireless, even satellite connections are all fair game, as long as they can hit that 1,000 Mbps target. It's the outcome that matters, not the method. Okay, so this brings up the million-dollar question for any developer, right? What if connecting to a gigabit network is just ridiculously expensive? Well, the regulation anticipates this, and it includes a really crucial financial safety net. And that protection is a hard cost cap of £2,000 per dwelling. Now, this cap applies specifically to requirement RA2, the cost of getting that live service switched on. As the developer, you are not obligated to spend one single penny more than £2,000 per home to get that connection installed. But you can't just decide it's too expensive. There's a formal process you have to follow. First, you have to get quotes from at least 2 different network operators. Second, if all of their offers come in over that £2,000 per home limit, you're in the clear. Third, you have to document everything, every email, every quote, as evidence for building control. And finally, you then have to install the next fastest connection that is available within that budget. This whole system creates what's called the performance ladder. Your main goal always is that gigabit connection. If you can't get that under the cost cap, you step down to the next rung, a high-speed connection, which is defined as at least 30 Mbps. If that's still too pricey, you fall back again to a basic standard connection. And only if all of those options cost more than £2,000 per home are you exempt. But remember, you still have to install the physical pipes under RA1 no matter what. All of this work, all these decisions, they all have to be formally written down and submitted to your building control body. This is done using a new, mandatory piece of paperwork called the connectivity plan. And listen, this is not something you do at the end of the project. This is a mandatory form that you absolutely must submit to building control before you even start the work. It's basically your formal declaration that you're complying with approved document R. So what's in it? Well, Part A is what you fill out when everything is going to plan. You'll put in the project details, name your network operator, describe the physical pipes for RA1, and confirm you're providing a live RA2 gigabit connection, along with what technology you're using. Now, Part B is only for if you're claiming that 2,000-pound cost cap exemption. Think of this as your evidence folder. You have to include the quotes from those network operators that prove the cost was too high, and then you have to state which fallback connection from that performance ladder you're providing instead. Okay, so that's new homes sorted. But what about new offices or big renovations of existing buildings? Well, that's where Volume 2 of Approved Document R comes into play, and it has a slightly different set of rules. The main requirement here is called R1. And you'll notice the language is different. It says high-speed ready, not gigabit ready. The performance target here is 30 Mbps, not 1,000. And, crucially, this rule only requires you to install the in-building physical infrastructure, the pipes. It does not require a live service. For these kinds of projects, you're only responsible for the path inside the building, from the main access point to where the tenant will plug in. And the rule only kicks in during major renovations where you're actually messing with that infrastructure. The exemption is also different. Instead of that hard 2,000-pound cap, it's more subjective. You can be exempt if you can prove the cost is disproportionate to the benefit. So, at the end of the day, whether it's the full pipes and service for a new house or just making an office high-speed ready, the goal is exactly the same: to future-proof our buildings. This law basically says that digital access is now just as essential as running water or electricity. For more videos diving deep into the technical requirements of building regulations, visit the Building Regulations Copilot YouTube channel. And for any building regulations related queries, head over to buildingregulationscopilot.com.